Welcome to the Castles of Cork, a journey through Ireland's history. In this series, we delve into the enchanting world of Cork's castles, each episode revealing the grandeur and mystery of these formidable strongholds. From towering fortresses to secluded treasures cradled in stunning landscapes, we explore the rich tapestry of history that these castles embody. Join us as we traverse through tales of medieval warfare, royal conspiracy, and the architectural splendor that defines them. Prepare to be captivated by the breathtaking vistas and compelling stories of power and prestige. So gather your sense of adventure and come along on this unforgettable exploration of Cork's majestic castles. On a blissful summer's afternoon on the outskirts of Cork City, Blarney Castle is proudly flying her county's flag. This castle is perhaps one of Ireland's most iconic and best-known castles, built nearly 600 years ago by Cormac Leader MacCarthy. The 14th century Gaelic lord left a legacy of fortresses around Cork before his unfortunate demise, which we'll get into a little later. The castle is most famous for the legendary Blarney Stone. It's said to bestow the gift of the gab, the silver-tongued eloquence that could charm the very birds from trees. Many a brave soul has hung upside down, clinging to the stone with white-knuckled fever in the hopes of receiving its mystical powers. The origins of the stone's magical properties are shrouded in myth. Some say it was a gift from the goddess Cleana to the first MacCarthy chieftain. Others believe it to be the Stone of Scone, used in the coronation of Scottish kings and brought to Ireland during the Crusades. Beneath Blarney Castle is Badger's Cave. When Lord Broghill besieged the castle, firing down from Card Hill, the main garrison used this labyrinth of caves and escaped through its hidden passages to safety. South of Blarney Castle lies Blarney House, a splendid jewel set within the castle's embrace. Built in the mid-19th century, this grand mansion is a testament to the whimsical wonders of Victorian architecture. From the tales of its origins to the thousands of visitors who kiss the stone each year, Blarney Castle continues to captivate and charm, making it a treasure all of its own. The legacy of Cormac MacCarthy continues south of Blarney. A second staunch sential, Carrignamuck Castle, plays up to its scenic riverbank setting in Dripsey. It was commissioned at the same time as Blarney Castle, and although smaller in scale, it is not lacking in beauty. The vast estate originally comprised of a mill, and in the 1700s a Georgian mansion was added, taking advantage of this fairy tale setting. Continuing south over the River Lee and through Farran Woods, Cormac MacCarthy left his mark atop an ancient druidic site where mystical ceremonies were held under the moonlight. There's an abundance of energy flowing here, and so, ever so practical, MacCarthy decided a sturdy castle was far more useful than an open-air altar, and thus Kilkrea Castle was born. The stairwell is a vertigo-inducing spiral of stone steps designed to disorientate invaders, and quite frankly, anyone who's had a bit too much mead. In this very hall, Cormac MacCarthy's vision and strength shaped the very heart of Muskerry. Under his leadership, the castle became a bastion of power and culture, where the spirit of Gaelic Ireland burned brightly against the tides of change. It's 1465, and the great Cormac MacCarthy, continuing his building spree, has decided to commission an abbey. Unbeknownst to him, it's where he'll be buried after he's murdered by his brother. The friary stands as a testament to the MacCarthy's influence over both temporal and spiritual matters. Cormac MacCarthy was not only a warrior and a diplomat, but also a patron of the church. The friary, named after Saint Cyra, sits on the hallowed grounds of an earlier monastery. The land here is sacred, steeped in the energies of a ley line that stretched from the legendary Ishnok, the very navel of Ireland. This line of power infuses Kilkrea with an otherworldly essence, making it a place of deep spiritual resonance, where the ancient magic of Ireland is still palpable in every stone. The very air seems to hum with the echoes of the druidic chants, long forgotten but never truly lost. Kilkrea is imbued with the essence of the old gods, the whispers of druids, and the pulse of a world that lies just beyond our reach. The story of the MacCarthy clan is not complete without taking a trip north to Drishane Castle near Mill Street. It was built by Cormac's grandfather, Dermot Moore, and was a symbol of power, a fortress that would lay the groundwork for his descendants' prominence. Cormac grew up under the shadow of this imposing structure, learning the arts of leadership and warfare. One of the most fascinating chapters in its history came when the castle was purchased by the renowned poet and playwright Augusta Lady Gregory. She used it as a summer retreat and a hub for the Irish literary revival, welcoming literary giants like W.B. Yeats and George Bernard Shaw. Leaving the MacCarthys behind us now, we travel to West Cork to explore another dynasty, this time the seafaring O'Mahony clan. Cork is unrivaled in its coastal beauty, and it's exemplified on sunny days like today. We're over roaring water bay, with the village of Schull soaking up the sun in the bay behind. It's easy to see why the O'Mahony clan laid claim to the land and sea here. Within a short distance of each other lie the remains of 4 of their castles, all with a unique tale. Firstly, we have Rossbrin Castle of scribes and scholars. Finian O'Mahony, the leader of the clan, resided here and was a cultured and powerful figure. He was a renowned historian, fluent in Irish, Latin and English. The annals of Connacht praised him as a great scholar. Finian made Rossbrin Castle both his residence and a hub for Irish scholars. While Columbus was exploring the New World, those within the walls of Rossbrin Castle were busy writing and translating important treaties and manuscripts, challenging the belief that the earth was flat. Originally said to have been built in 1310, the remains we see today, however, date back to the 15th or 16th century. Further down the Mizen Peninsula, this is the O'Mahony Castle's most notable, as it served as the home of the Taoiseach. Ardintenant Castle, derived from the Gaelic Ord on Tirna, or height of the High Chief, reflects its significance. Its strategic location on the peninsula provided a vantage point to monitor the waters of Roaring Water Bay, safeguarding against potential invaders and pirates. On the opposite side of the peninsula, the O'Mahonys built Dunmanus Castle, a coastal guardian exuding a sense of isolation and mystery. The castle, built in 1430, was their watchtower over the wild Atlantic and is the best preserved O'Mahony castle. The Taoiseach Donogh Mór lived here for 40 years while waiting to succeed his brother as Taoiseach. What remains of Dunbeacon is less a castle and more akin to an obelisk from a Stanley Kubrick movie. A mix of coastal erosion and the passage of time have seen this structure near Durrus spirited away. One last window out onto the wild Atlantic, the next storm could be its last. Welcome to Glanworth, where history is as densely packed as a suitcase for a 2-week holiday, yet you're only staying overnight. Perched strategically overlooking the Funcheon River, Glanworth Castle is a striking testament to Ireland's medieval past. Constructed in the 13th century by the Anglo-Norman Fitzgerald family, the castle itself has been expanded more times than an overambitious Lego project. It started as a simple hall keep with a gatehouse, but over the centuries it morphed into a domestic residence, then a tower house, complete with a garderobe turret. Glanworth Bridge, which crosses the Funcheon River, is like the Swiss Army knife of medieval bridges. Dating back to 1446, it's so narrow that even 2 sheep passing each other would have to hold their breath. According to the National Inventory of Architectural Heritage, it's the oldest and narrowest working road bridge in Europe. Basically, it's the medieval version of a 1-lane highway, and it's still standing strong, like a monument to ancient road rage. Once upon a time, Glanworth was a proud stop on the Great Southern and Western Railway, connecting it to the rest of Ireland. But in a move that can only be described as genius, the government of the day shut down the railways, leaving villages like Glanworth in splendid isolation. Think of it as the John Deacon or Enya of Irish villages, brilliant but opting out of the public eye. So next time you're yearning for a slice of medieval life, remember Glanworth, a village where the past isn't just alive, it's got a permanent residency. Staying in North Cork, we travel over the Nagle Mountains towards the village of Ballyhooly. Picture this. A Christmas vacation at a 13th century castle, and the table is set for murder. The Butler family didn't anticipate finding the gardener, Fergus O'Malley, dead in the crumbling graveyard under suspicious circumstances. The youngest of the family, Kirsty, together with the help of her friend, race to piece together the bizarre puzzle involving night prowlers, gypsies, and the mysterious illness affecting the local salmon. This might sound like total fiction, because it is the outline for the 1971 novel The Ghost of Ballyhooly by New Jersey author Betty Kavanagh. Kavanagh, who holidayed at the castle herself, found it to be the inspiration for her sleuthing teenage novel. When the Norman castle was built in 1314 by William Roche, he scarcely would have imagined it to be the setting for a fictional family drama over 600 years later. Family drama in Roche's days would have been far less of an adventurous caper and far more likely to end in fatality. The castle comes with its lands covering 6 kilometres of the northern bank of the river, making it an internationally renowned location for fishing vacations and perhaps even an author seeking a source of inspiration for their next big hit. Following the river west, we move towards Mallow, where we find the remains of Castle Barrett, the answer to the question, what would happen if Oliver Cromwell came near this? It was built in the early 13th century by John Fitzrichard, looking out over Mourne Abbey and the picturesque Clyda River Valley. The castle's changed hands several times over the centuries, from the Cogans to the Desmonds to finally the Barretts, from where it takes its name. Carrignamuck Castle stands as a timeless sentinel near the village of Inchigeela. Likely built around 1575, this is the only surviving stronghold of the O'Leary family, who ruled over these lands and beyond. A recent archaeological dig unearthed tantalizing treasures, including 2 shimmering silver coins, one nearly 1,000 years old, and the other a tax token, later transformed into a piece for medieval board games. These discoveries have sparked speculation that a castle may have stood on this storied site much earlier than previously imagined. All good things come to an end, and as the sun sets on this exploration of Cork's great castles, there's one last place to discover. We're on the shores of Cork Harbour, where perched at the entrance to Great Island is Blarney Castle. Built in the 12th century by the Ardintenant family, it's seen a dramatic series of takeovers, beginning with its capture by the De La Roche and De Barra families in the 14th century. The castle was even occupied by Sir Walter Raleigh. During World War I, the crafty locals took advantage of an increase in passing sailors docked at nearby Queenstown, reputedly under the impression that they were actually visiting Blarney Castle and the Blarney Stone. The castle's narrative took a turn in the 20th century when it was repurposed by the Irish Army as a defensive post during World War II. Recently, the castle has been lovingly restored, completed in 2018, transforming it into a stunning private residence. It was an intense era of industry, a time teeming with the clatter and clamour of commerce. Bustling passenger steamers surged through the waters, while the churning and chugging of trains echoed across the land. The newly forged line to Queenstown thrummed with life as the whoosh and whistle of steam engines cut through the air, driving the pulse of a thriving hub of trade and travel. This marvel of 18th century engineering connected Great Island, Fota Island and Little Island to Cork City and beyond, forging new pathways and linking communities like never before. Standing on the western tip of Fota Island is Fota Tower, which is purely decorative. Oh, to have that kind of money. In the 1820s, John Smith Barry migrated to Ireland, settling in the nearby Fota House. During this period, it was fashionable to have a folly in one's garden. Smith Barry commissioned Cork architect John Hargrave to design Fota Tower. Constructed in the Tudor Gothic Revival style, the tower was situated at the edge of Fota de Mance, overlooking Cork Harbour, and served as a hunting lodge for the Smith Barrys. mists of Ireland's past, where the River Lee flows gracefully towards the sea, there stood a bustling port city named Cork. It was the 16th century, and Cork's citizens, weary of pirate raids and the threat of invasion, erected a sturdy fort on the river's edge, a sentinel against the marauding dangers that lurked in the waters beyond. This was the beginnings of Blackrock Castle. As the decades rolled by, the modest fort grew in stature and strength. By the 1600s, it had transformed into a formidable stone stronghold. However, in 1722, a devastating fire ravaged the structure, leaving behind only ashes. But Cork's spirit was resilient, and the castle rose again from the ruins, reborn stronger than before. In 1827, architects James and George Payne reshaped the castle into the majestic Gothic revival masterpiece that stands today. Blackrock Castle became a symbol of both the past and the future, a guardian of Cork's shores. Today it stands as a beacon of knowledge, having been transformed into an observatory and science centre. Within its ancient walls, modern telescopes offer a window to the stars. As the sun dips below the horizon, casting a golden glow over the rugged landscape of Cork, we leave behind the stories etched into these mighty castles. Each fortress stands as a testament to a time of courage, conflict, and resilience. From the grand battles to the hidden chambers, we have walked through history, uncovering tales of bravery and defiance that shaped this land. So let us take these stories forward to honour the strength of those who came before, for in every stone lies a story, and in every story the heartbeat of Cork endures. If you enjoyed the show, you might consider subscribing to be notified about future video releases.